welcome to the Omnibros live manga show. We're here on spooky Thursday the 13th to talk about spooky manga as well as other things. I'm joined
Shocked.
by my usual co-host. Below me is Gio from A Week in Geekdom, still petitioning for an Inhumans omnibus. How are you today?
I need that book to come out. Sorry, tongue-tied. So I can take this down and actually promote who I am, I guess. I don't know. So Marvel, please put the damn book out so I can get rid of it already.
You're throwing out self-promotion because you believe that the book is more important.
I'm committed. I said a couple of months ago when I'll keep this tag on until the Inhumans Omnibus comes out. I'm confident we're going to get that next year. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But hey, everybody, happy to be back on a Thursday night talking about manga and all that cool stuff.
Awesome. I hope for your sake and for everyone else's that it does happen. For everyone else's, because it's some good material. Like the early Inhumans, there's some good stuff in there.
Hell yeah.
And then, as of course, every other week, we're graced by our friend Colleen. How are you doing tonight?
What's up? I'm doing good.
Awesome.
I missed you guys.
We missed you.
I
2 weeks ago.
Last week.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a while since you got to hang out with Colleen.
Yeah. The trifecta here on Thursday nights. It's awesome. I missed
We had a fun little time when you weren't here.
I explained that to Gio afterwards.
Yeah.
About how that went and why it went that way, I guess. But yeah, that was fun.
That
happens.
happens.
I also I like how like the next day when our friend Shiva was watching that stream later, didn't realize, like, she didn't know what happened and like mentioned something about like how it just started up with us like cracking up, and I was like, oh, so it doesn't even have the first part like in the recorded version. Great.
Didn't have our 5-minute preamble before Facebook.
Shout out to our buddy Travis. Was just watching one of Colleen's videos, so this is good timing.
Hey, I need to watch your Q&A because I don't know if there's any A's that got QA'd. Wait.
No answers. I sat there and I stared into my camera for a straight 30 minutes.
If there's any Q's that got A'd that I don't know the A to, and then I said that the wrong way around.
There's probably a couple in there that you probably wouldn't know. You can jump around. I have chapters.
I was going to say like, no, you don't like shoujo or shonen because you haven't watched or read Slam Dunk yet.
Hey, you know what? I was gonna tell you. I have it on my watch list on Crunchyroll, and I was so close to watching it the other day.
Okay.
Awesome.
But then I watched one episode of Gintama, and then I was like, oh, I don't know if I actually want to rewatch this. So I think whenever I finish Natsume season 2, I will start Slam Dunk.
Okay. You tell me
when
when
you have to go back to Chihayafuru.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you tell me when you start Slam Dunk. I'll go back to Chihayafuru. Now that my life is kind of more under control, I can take the time to sit and watch, because you very specifically were like, don't watch it while doing other stuff. So that's why I haven't, because I was busy with work and I watch stuff while I work.
All right, well, I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, I will hold you to the Slam Dunk. So
probably after the fall season, because there's so much I'm watching right now. I can't keep up with everything.
I'm not even watching a lot. I just started watching Bleach and Chainsaw Man, but those two series, that's two more seasonal anime than I've watched as they've come out since I was in like high school. So
I'm so happy to hear you say that you're watching seasonal shows. As someone that reviews seasonal anime, that's great to hear.
And if I watch Mob seasons 1 and 2 soon, I'll add Mob to that as well, because it's also on Hulu. I have Hulu.
But that's easy because those shows have like 11 to 12 episodes, so you can knock that out pretty fast.
Yeah, and I've already read the manga, so it's like I know what's happening, so I don't have to be 100% locked in, paying attention. The same thing with the other two. Like, you know, I read Bleach years ago, and I've read Chainsaw Man, so it's like I know what's going on, so I don't have to like be super duper locked into it. Anyway, you can find the manga for Bleach, Chainsaw Man, and Mob Psycho 100 at our sponsors, InStockTrades.com. You let me
Yeah.
segue.
In Stock Trades. I was waiting for the right cue to segue into that, but thank you. We'll do it now.
I saw it and I had to go for it.
Yeah, perfect. It was beautiful. Thank you. Guys, gals, everybody, you got to check out InStockTrades.com, your home for all things collected editions, all your omnibus, manga, hardcover, box sets, all the collected editions. You find it at InStock Trades. Deals up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts tack on an extra 2% to that. And if you're making an order of $50 or more, you get free shipping. Fantastic customer service and wonderful packaging. That's InStock Trades, the official sponsor of Omnibros Live here on the Omnibus Collectors Network. And let me remind everybody, if you're new here, at the end of the month, this time it's going to be on the 31st. So Halloween night, we are going to have an episode. I can't promise that we'll dress up or anything, but we'll think of something spooky for that night. We will have the $50 gift card giveaway courtesy of InStock Trades. All you have to do is tune in live and participate in the chat to have an opportunity to win a gift card valued at $50. Once again, courtesy of InStock Trades, the official sponsor of this channel. Shout out to IST.
Thank you. So what all was it? You wanted to make fun of some stuff, you said, and then we have 3 new licenses from 7 Seas, one of which I know that Colleen can talk at some length about. The other 2 of which I don't even remember what they were, but I think one of them sounded intriguing.
I know one of them because a friend of mine made a joke about it, so that's all I'm going to say.
One of them is super cute, and the other one is really, really super weird, depending on who you are as a person.
I think the super weird one is the one that I'm thinking of.
Okay, so let's do that first before we talk about spooky books.
Okay.
Let me share my screen here. Shout out to 7 Seas because they always send me the info to my email. And it's sort of a tradition on Omnibros, the 7 Seas Thursdays. Let's see, here we go. So the first one that I want to highlight here is A Story of 7 Lives by Gin Shirakawa, a moving tale of stray cats and the humans who care for them. The entire 3-volume series will be released in English in one oversized omnibus edition. On the mean streets of Tokyo, countless stray cats scrounge and struggle to survive. Nanao is one of them. He used to be a house cat, but after tragedy struck, he had to make it out on his own, relying only on fellow stray cat Machi for help. When some people start feeding the strays in the neighborhood, Nanao cautiously starts to bond with them. But the humans, a brother and sister who run a bathhouse, have issues and wounds of their own. Can Nanao help them heal and perhaps find a new home in the process? A heart-tugging tale of family and survival. The Story of 7 Seas will come out May 2023, again in one oversized omnibus edition. And here's the cover for that. Looking pretty cute.
All in one omnibus, you got me.
It's a blue cat.
You know, it has that watercolor job on it that makes it kind of look like Jill Thompson's Beasts of Burden.
Or Jill Thompson's Wonder Woman book that I can't remember right now.
Well, because Beasts of Burden is about it's like Homeward Bound but horror.
Yeah.
So
thankfully this is not horror. This is some wholesome cat manga drama thingamajig.
Chewie's like, why is it always cats, Dad?
It's always about the cats.
I know.
Which is weird because Japan has a long history with dogs as well, but for some reason just cats they took off. Ever since Yokai Tales and books and novels, and now anime and manga.
Cats are popular now.
Yeah. The other one here, if you're a fan of Japanese folklore, this will make sense to you. If not, this is going to come off as extremely creepy and bizarre. Yeah, because if you study Japanese folklore, you know about the many stories where stuff like this happens. It's not out of the blue where they're like, I'm just going to make a manga about a girl with a giant albino snake getting it on. What am I talking about? The Great Snake's Bride by, I'm going to butcher this, Fushiyashikumo. Fushiyashikumo. That's a weird name. In this critically acclaimed and sensual fairy tale, can a woman sacrificed to a snake god learn to love her non-human husband? For 500 years, a giant snake god has lived in the ancient mountain. Miyo, an unlucky young woman from a nearby village, has been offered as a tribute. She is to be the snake's bride. Miyu always feared that the enormous talking snake would devour her whole, like Anaconda. But once she's taken in by the god, he treats her like a wife rather than a meal. His flicking tongue vibrates through gentle words. His powerful, slithering body wraps around hers in an embrace. This god is kinder than his monstrous form implies, and Mio thinks she could learn to appreciate the non-human form his
Geo got frozen by the snake god.
for
no.
$14. And here is the cover for that series. Thoughts? I know you are all perplexed.
Okay, here's my thought. I'm very into Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts, and that is also in the monster fucking genre, so I don't think I can say a word. And actually, this does sound interesting, so I will probably get it.
My favorite part is that it is so like heavily described as being sensual, and the way that they describe this snake, it's very clear, like it's supposed to be a sexy snake. It's just funny to me. Did you have the cover? It's not showing up.
Hold on.
Because this cover has the snake god in question.
Can you see that? Can you see that image?
I'm not seeing anything yet.
Well, something's happening.
Oh no, we lost him.
I think I bought Sacrificial Princess like a week or two ago, and I haven't read it, but now that I know I'm in for monster fucking,
that's gonna get clipped out of context. Love it. Can you see the thing now?
So I see the same thing.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
There he is.
So that's supposed to be a sexy snake, basically, is what we're getting at.
I mean,
he flicks his tongue and looks at her seductively.
Look at him.
I'm sorry, like I when it comes to manga snakes, I really only think of Orochimaru, and Orochimaru was not the greatest snake in the world.
Come on, look at him though.
Man, either.
But this one cares about Mio. It's going to be a wholesome tale. Bestiality involved. What are you going to do?
I'll read it. I'm not saying I won't read it. I'm just.
Please do. Let us know.
Heavy hentai. Yeah, I will read it. I just don't. I'm not sure about the snake. It's just such a phallic creature to begin with. Like I feel like there's just going to be a lot of like that.
Yeah. I think depending. Actually, never mind. I won't say anything.
It's an open book. You can say whatever you want on this show.
I was going to say, depending on if a man or a woman wrote this, I think it could get into.
I can find out. Hold on. Fushiashi Kumo. Let's Google that.
I don't remember what I was going to say, but I mean, I'm going to try it out. I will. I tend to try most first volumes. Oh, I was going to say I was surprised that it's not being published under either Steamship or Ghost Ship by the description of it.
I bet it's not as like sexy and like that sort of way as they make it seem. I think it's going to be like the undertones of being kind of like risque, but not overtly.
Yeah, it's probably like romantic and kind of sensual without showing any actual action.
Hey now.
Like I'm just flipping through. I got Black and White, the Yuri office thing. Yuri Slugfest at the office is how it's described at the back, and it doesn't look like there's really any like nudity, but it's a romance, and there's a like there looks like there's scenes that are a little sensual.
I'm trying to find pictures of the manga, but I'm being careful because it's the internet, and I don't know what's going to happen.
Just in case you find any fan art.
Yes. And I'm also trying to learn about the mangaka, because you're right. If it's a dude, it's going to be a totally different experience, but I doubt it. Hold on.
I also feel like women more often do the monster fucking genre of romance as well.
Sure. When it's dudes, it's usually about demons instead, which I'll talk about later.
Here's a page from the manga with the two lovers.
He's menacing looking.
I kind of dig the art, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's not bad looking artwork.
For the like this panel over here, I kind of dig it.
I like that they didn't try to give him like snake speech where every S is like 3 S's.
I found some things that I can't show.
Oh, hell yeah.
Solidifies the pickup.
Yeah, there are sexual scenes, but you don't see anything. Just it's implied and stuff,
Okay.
Lots of has and size, Yeah, I can't show any of that, but use your imagination, kids. So Fushi Ashikumo. Let me check if there's any info. While I do that, let me share my screen again. Here's the cover of the manga. There we go. We can talk about this, which a lot of people are excited for. This is Last Game from Shinobu Amano. If you guys don't know, in elementary school, the rich and spoiled Yanagi Naoto was known for excelling in both studies and sports, but then he suffered the first setback of his life when Kujo Mikoto, a girl from a poor family, transferred to a school and performed better than Naoto at every turn. Reeling from this unforgivable blow to his pride, Naoto decided that he had to make Mikoto lose at something by making her lose her heart to him, which he could then break. Now that they're both in college, will Naoto finally be able to win Mikoto's affections, or will he lose this final game with her? Last Game Volume 1, it says here original black and white edition, will be released for the first time in North America in May of next year in single large trim editions. Last Game. Thoughts?
Great series. I read this back in college, so it's kind of old. But we only ever had it in like a full color digital, and it didn't, I don't want to be mean, but it didn't look good. So glad to have this in print. If anyone is a fan of Kaguya, they will be a fan of this one as well.
That's awesome.
Those are big words.
I mean, it's the original.
The OG. So I looked. I think you recommended this to me, like when I asked. I don't remember what, but you gave me a bunch of recommendations at once about certain type of romance, and this was part of it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's in that like realm of rivals, enemies to lovers. So this one and Special A are like the two that like most JoJo fans would be like, these are like the staple for the rivals to lovers kind of school relationships.
So this one's 11 volumes total, ran from 2011 to 2016 in Lala magazine, if that means anything to any of the viewers. So this one also, this was published around the same time as the two recent announcements from Viz, but there's a lot more like fervor around this particular book compared to the two that they announced. Is it just because this is such a more celebrated series?
I would say there's two different things. I think first of all, yeah, this one's much more well loved, maybe I would say, or at least it aged better. Because, you know, Wolf Girl and Black Prince is a pretty controversial series in itself. Most people have seen it from the anime. And while I do enjoy that series, I know it's not for everyone. And a lot of people are not going to like it. And then the other thing, I kind of told you this, but the Like a Butterfly series by Sue Morishita, to get that one after we're getting their best series right now, and we've already had their second best series license, it's going to be a major downgrade to a lot of people because it's kind of a nothing series. It's cute and that's about all there is to it, but like you can see where they have come from there, which is why I think it's just kind of a downgrade to get that one. And I think the other thing is just the fact that we've gotten, what is this, 4-week licensing in a row of shoujo titles from Seven Seas. And especially because we have gotten new titles that are still currently ongoing from them. So I think this is just like, it's a well-loved series, and we also are getting it along with a mix of new titles as well.
What are the others by Sue Morishita that are available in English?
Oh, sorry. A Sign of Affection, the one by Kodansha, and then Short Cake Cake, which is from Viz as well. So we got Short Cake Cake, which was their second series before we got their first one.
A Sign of Affection was one that like everyone was super excited about back during AX, right?
I'm not sure. Because I don't even think I knew about the series at that point in time.
I'm thinking of A Condition Called Love, sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, A Condition Called Love is the one that was digital only, but is getting physicals now.
Yeah, okay, all right. I was trying to get like information as to like what makes this one so because the other stuff, like it seemed like when Viz did the other announcements and there was just the two shoujos just like throwing a bone, and this was like actually something people really wanted. Even compared to the previous weeks of Seven Seas that had at least one shoujo title, this one, there was a lot more excitement when this got announced.
Yeah, and I think that is specific to Seven Seas announcements. This one definitely got more hype because it is such a well-loved, like, older title that people probably have read since, because it was available in digital. So, like, most people knew about it. But that's probably also why.
Interesting. I can't find anything. Sorry. So the mystery shall remain for the serpent author. Sorry.
Gender of the author of the sensual snake manga.
I have no idea.
The whole time.
I saw their Twitter, but that just did nothing.
Okay, so those are the 3 licenses:
Yeah.
Sensual Snakes, a cat omnibus, and a very celebrated shoujo release.
Yep.
I really like the watercolors on that cover. Okay, is it time for spooky mangas?
Whatever you guys want.
I think Riley's ready for some spooky manga.
Yeah.
I read a lot of spooky manga and stuff, and like there's so many things that I can talk about. I don't have a ton of it. You know what? I'm gonna start with the demon series that I told Gio to find a cover pitch for, but he can't show a lot of stuff. We're just gonna start it off hot with Devil's Ecstasy, because this is something that I read recently, like last week, and it was a trip. So it is by Shuzo Oshimi, as is shown on the cover here. And Shuzo Oshimi, you probably know from stuff like Blood on the Tracks, Flowers of Evil, Welcome Back, Alice is also going right now. And he's become, known for doing not strictly horror, but kind of like thriller type of stories, especially
lots of psychological stuff too.
Yeah, psychological thriller stories, even to the point that like Welcome Back, Alice, which is very much not like a topic that it would be like a thriller. It's the way that he writes it makes it feel like a psychological thriller. It's Steph.
Hi, Steph.
Yeah, crumbs from Shoujo Beat. Crumbs. So this series is one of his earlier works, and it is very different from any of those later things in that it is an erotic horror comedy.
Yep.
About a brothel of succubi and a young man who is afraid of boobs that goes to said brothel and meets the succubus on the cover here, who is flat-chested, and he falls for her, and because he like expresses how beautiful he finds her, she tells him to leave the brothel and like effectively saves his life, because the other succubi, whenever they bring in a guy off the streets, they engage and suck their soul out of their body through something called SAEM, SAEM, but it's like a diphthong AE, not separate letters. And the same is very clearly something else pulled out of their body, and like a few days later the guys will die. And so like everyone that visits the brothel dies a few days later. The dude that went in there that is afraid of boobies, his friend died, and he's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. He goes back and like, I don't know, they form this he forms a relationship with the succubus that saved his life. And the rest of the series as it goes forward is kind of like this romantic comedy between this dude and the succubus girl, but at the same time there's this big like plot that's going on where they're trying to like the succubus are trying to take over the world, and there are people that are trying to fight back against them and figure out a way to like save the world from these succubus that are like literally sucking the life out of all the men. It's wild. It is absolutely hilarious and wild. And the way that it comes around, because it actually does go as the series goes on, you learn why homeboy is afraid of the boobs, and like it comes back to relating to everything else that's going on in such a like wild way. This is not for everyone. I wouldn't recommend it to many people at all. But as far as like horror comedy goes in manga, this is one of the flat out funniest ones I've read. It is there's literally like on almost every single page, clearly not every page, but Gio's having to be careful with what
That's why I'm taking the screen on and off. I'm searching for the safer word pages.
he's having to be careful with what he shows because almost every page has some sort of nudity. Like the Devil's Ecstasy or Devil Ecstasy is the brothel's name, and above the door, like the facade of the building, there's a giant statue of a demon lady. She's naked and her legs are spread, and the door is right under her crotch, and that's what they walk in and out of to get to the brothel. It's wild. So if you want an erotic horror comedy with a little bit of romantic comedy in there as well,
Hey.
Shuzo Oshimi's Devil Ecstasy from Kodansha. It's 2 omnibus editions. It's collected across 2 thick paperbacks. So there you go. Boom.
Speaking of boom, we do have a super chat.
Boom.
From Bin Senin. I'm going to throw this up there, and Riley, you make the call. I don't know. Thank you for the super chat, Bin Senin. Riley, show full design shirt you're wearing via full screen. You want to show the shirt?
It's just the cover of Chainsaw Man Volume 1.
Hold on. There we go.
That's
Look
it.
at that.
It's a really great angle for you, Riley. Just like.
I don't
There you
know. But that it's literally just the cover of the first volume. I find my shirts by just Googling X plus shirt on Google, and then I buy whatever I find. So I just looked at Chainsaw Man shirt like a year or 2 ago.
Naked.
Yeah, naked.
It's a rigorous process.
So Devil Ecstasy. I can take this off now?
Yeah, you're good to do that.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to round robin it and someone else can go so we can recover from my Tibi manga.
I'll go last because I actually need to find the physical book. I want to show it off.
I can go then.
Yay.
Okay. I gotta move it. Oh no, I almost dropped that.
1 minute. Be right back.
And we can go around, like you can do one, I'll Geo do one,
Okay.
I'll do one.
So my recommendation is Ghost Hunt. However, the thing about Ghost Hunt is it's impossible to find because it is an old shoujo. So find it other ways, if you know what I mean. No, but it's a really cool ghost horror series. It follows this high school girl named May who accidentally knocks over this ghost hunter's equipment. So to basically pay it back, she helps him out as an assistant. And then it's just kind of like an episodic. Each volume basically has different like ghost stories that they follow until like it's completed, and it's mostly just like self-contained into each volume. Sometimes volumes will like go for 2 volumes for one story, but it's just a really cool ghost hunting story. There's like a bunch of different characters that kind of cycle through. Yeah. It's hard to talk about this one because it is so episodic, and I just have to be like, it's ghost hunting and there's horror because like it's so episodic.
It sounds similar in that way to like mystery and detective series, like Case Closed or Conan, or like, you know, I just started the Usatoki Rhetoric today, and you know that one's pretty episodic as well, which is fantastic, by the way. The only thing that's weird about this book is it's taller than a standard volume, but it's not wider than, it's like slightly tall. It's weird. So
One Piece books,
they usually they're smaller. Theirs are like smaller, like the size of a 7 Seas book. So that's a new trim size that I haven't seen before. Is Ghost Hunt completely published in English?
No, there is 1 volume that did not get published, the last volume. So, and the thing about the series is, while it is episodic, you can't skip volumes because everything like wraps up in the last volume for a certain character. So you meet these characters and you don't really know anything about them, but like through every ghost hunt that they all do together, you start learning like bits and pieces and you can't put it together until the end of what actually happens. So there like is an overarching story, but for the most part, like most of the volumes are episodic.
Does Kodansha have it available digitally right now, or is it just completely?
I think it's just completely gone. Like it's hundreds of dollars to get one of these, and the only way I got one is someone was like, hey, I have extra copies, and they sent them to me. Like I would not own the series if it weren't for that, because it is completely, it feels like it's just erased off the face of the earth.
It's wild.
But great series.
There was an anime for 25 episodes back in 06 to 07.
I've heard the anime is pretty good. I don't think it covers the whole series, but
I was gonna say, because the anime or the manga ran until 2010, but there's the manga, it looks like, was based off of a light novel series.
Yeah.
So
the light novel series was written by the same author who did Escaflowne, I think, if that's how you say that one.
Fuyumi,
one of the best isekai of all time.
Fuyumi Ono, I think, is the same author of Escaflowne.
There's a second manga that hasn't been released in English also.
Yeah, spin-off, right?
Akumu no Sumu Ie Ghost Hunt.
That one.
Yeah. So next time I'm on the line with Kodansha, I'm going to tell them, like, hey, guys.
Get his Ghost Hunt back. It's so good.
And to tell them that we care. All three of us care.
So I got a book if you want me to talk about it. This is no surprise if you're a fan of the channel, if you follow my own channel. I love Yokai, so any opportunity that I can have on the stream to talk about one of the best manga of all time, and that is, of course, Gegege no Kitaro. So here I picked up one of the random volumes. Here's The Great Tanuki War. If you don't know what Kitaro is, it's unfortunate. I think the U.S. is totally in the dark when it comes to Shigeru Mizuki and his fantastic works. It sucks that it was not heavily promoted, so not a lot of people know about Kitaro, unfortunately. He is the last remaining boy of a ghost tribe, so he is a yokai, and he is tasked to protect humanity and serve as sort of the guardian against all the spooky yokai, yurei, and all the other cool monsters that are out there in the world. And that includes European monsters as well, because he does tangle in fights with Frankenstein's monster and Dracula and stuff like that. So it's not just your typical like Tanuki, Kappa, Wanudo, and stuff like that. But this particular volume, The Great Tanuki War, the Tanuki strike back and they want to dominate the entire population of Japan, and they start mind controlling everybody and sort of creating this militaristic society, and they're gonna destroy Japan, I guess, and it's up to Kitaro and friends to save the earth from the great Tanukis. And I just love the art on this so much. Mizuki's one of my all-time favorite mangaka, and his work is just fantastic, being a cartoonist, super detailed, and then the sharp contrast with the goofy-looking character models always gets to me. And if you just love yokai and Japanese folklore, you're going to be in heaven with this, because it's fantastic. This particular volume series, there are 7 of them and 1 oversized edition. But I wanted to show this because it's more affordable. The other one's out of print. So, yeah.
It is getting reprinted, though, because I know they
next year. Yes.
So, question 1, is it completed in English?
No, because most of these books are just select stories. So there are some that are missing. Although Kitaro is not a huge series.
Okay.
It has more anime episodes than manga chapters.
Second question, the oversized one, does it have different content than all of the smaller ones?
Yeah, you're not going to get a repeat on any of the books that are out right now.
Okay.
But if you guys are interested, I highly recommend getting that Kitaro oversized book because it has some of the really famous stories of the character, like the greatest hits, if you will. So it is worth tracking down. But like we said, it is going to get a reprint early next year. I think January, February, somewhere along those months.
Yeah, Drawn and Quarterly just put out other Shigeru Mizuki reprints as
I
well.
need those.
Like
I
his
need those. Yes.
a lot of his Gekiga, I believe, like his 4-volume Showa History of Japan series, and then the Onward Towards Our Noble Deaths as well. Which I need those. I need 2 of those. I need 2 of the Showa books, but now I'm probably gonna want to get all of the ones because they look different. The spines don't match with the new printing, so it is what it is. But Drawn and Quarterly doing their thing, putting out all the Gekiga.
Also, I need to point out Daddy Eyeball. He's awesome. It's his dad. And all that's left of him, he was resurrected. And all that's left of him is a giant eyeball with a tiny body. But he once had a full body human-like. But now he serves as Kitaro's advisor, if you will, with all the knowledge on the yokai and all that stuff. But yeah, really cool stuff. It's a lot of goofy stories, but don't be deceived because there are a lot of spooky tales in here that are pretty creepy when you least expect them. Like, look at that. Look at that giant amphibian kaiju monster right there.
Yeah, I love his atmospheric work, like just the way his art looks. His characters are pretty caricature-ish, but the scenes and the atmospheres and stuff are great. I feel like that's true of a lot of earlier manga artists who did shonen and stuff like this. What's it? Tezuka. Just forgot Tezuka's name for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same way. I think next I'm going to bring up something. Let's go in a different direction compared to Devil's Ecstasy. This is something I read last night, I think, and that is Be Very Afraid of Kanako Inuki.
Nice.
It was released just this month from Kodansha. This is not the first work of Kanako Inuki's that we've had in English. I thought it was because I'm stupid. And I literally I feel dumb because literally, like, I'll say something and then I Google it 2 seconds later and I find out that I could have just Googled it 2 seconds earlier and had the answer for myself. But it's been years. It's been almost a decade, or no, almost 2 decades at this point since we've had any work by Kanako Inuki available in English. Inuki is called the Queen of Horror Manga, and she is often mentioned in the same breath as others, such as Junji Ito and Kazuo Umez and stuff like that, Hideshi Hino. But she's not nearly as celebrated in the US as these others. I wonder why. This is a 6 short story collection, and it's something that is her work stands very individual from the others, her contemporaries and the other horror manga creators that I mentioned. In at least these stories, much of it, she has very cute caricatures of young girls, but she does well to make like creepy kids. Which
Jesus
I think,
Christ.
at least in this collection, that is like the strength in her artwork comes from the absolutely just despicably creepy kids that she draws, in very cute little blouses and stuff, these girls. And so it's this nice kind of juxtaposition between having these, beautiful characters, beautiful clothing, but they're inherently creepy in whatever they're doing. So it's short stories. So more than likely, if you are a fan of creators like Junji Ito who do present a lot of short stories, you'll enjoy what you get in this volume. I think it's worth picking up. it's a nice, easy read. I don't think I can show these pages because of the violence. Here's a neat little page with some demons on it.
Yeah.
Flying demons. And she offers profiles at the beginning, like for all the characters. She gives you little profiles so
That's
you can
awesome.
see like information about them. And it's funny because she does it for every character, and then at the very end of the profiles, she also gives one for a demon, and everything's unknown. Height, adjustable, weight, fully adjustable, everything else is unknown. So yeah, this was a treat, and I really hope that this does well enough in English that they will continue to print more of her works.
Can we look at the spine of the book? Sorry.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's
Thank you.
Floral.
Yeah,
that's
a great spine.
Face there. I love the cover. Like I put this front and center on my video for my October releases because I loved this image from the cover, the face and the flowers, which I think just perfectly encapsulates what I was saying about her artwork. Like the flowers, these beautiful surroundings around this young girl who just is just dead-eyed. What this wouldn't even be Sanpaku eyes. This would be like Yonpaku eyes. She's got all 4 spaces around her pupils. So yeah, I recommend this one for fans of Ito's short story collections and stuff like that. It's a decently quick read. You can see it's not very big. Cover price on that is $12.99, and it just came out, so it should still be available from your favorite retailers, Right Stuff, or our sponsor, InStockTrades.com.
Hey, have you seen Inuki in real life?
What she looks like herself?
Yeah.
There's a picture. I think that's her as a child.
Because she reminds me of Junji Ito in that they are such wholesome persons. And they draw the most messed up things.
I love the comparison of like Ito and his work versus Miyazaki and his work, because like Ito is like happy-go-lucky, like smiling, just happy all the time, but his work is dreadful. And then Miyazaki is like,
she was born on the same day as me.
There you go.
You're a horror writer now. But yeah, Miyazaki is like this, just done with everything. Yet his work is so whimsical.
So here's some of the other material that hopefully do get picked up and put out.
I really hope so. I hope that they take on Kodansha, being they take on her work as kind of a traditional thing, like how Viz does with Ito, where they put out like 2 volumes of his stories per year, and one of them usually, of course, around October, because that would be great to see that kind of thing.
Perfect.
I love this cover. It's so nice. I want a giant poster of that.
Also, you don't get that type of neon pink often in covers.
No, you don't.
So it stands out.
You get it from like Zom 100, but it's not that often. All right. Your turn.
Am I going next?
Yeah. I'm going to grab some.
Okay, I'll go with the digital only title. So it's from Kodansha. It's called I Want to Hold Aono-kun So Badly I Could Die. Yeah.
Let me check it out here so I can share it for everybody.
Yeah, you're good. Kodansha series, if that helps.
Gotcha. So what is that about?
Yeah, so it's about this high school girl, I'm pretty sure her name is Yuri, who ran into Aono one day, who is from the class next door. And when she runs into him, he just does something nice. He picks her things up, and then she has a massive crush on him. And so she works up the courage to ask him out. And to her surprise, he ends up saying yes to her. And so the 2 of them start going out for about 2 weeks. And then she comes to school one day to find out that Aono has died. Because she is so obsessed with Auno, she ends up going back home and deciding she's going to unalive herself. And all of a sudden, Auno, as a ghost, comes out of nowhere to stop her from doing so. The series is one of the creepiest things I have ever read in my life. I'm not much of a horror person in the first place, so nice. A lot of things freak me out, but like this series, there's like jump scares somehow in it, and it's creepy and psychological, but it also just has like some really great romance in it too, and just some really good like emotional human moments, despite him being a ghost. But literally like one of my favorite series right now. It was one of the ones that I was like really hoping we could get physicals for someday from Kodansha.
Can I highlight art from this, or?
Yeah, you should be able to. Okay. I don't think there's anything too bad, other than maybe like some violence, but I don't think
it's all right.
Get to that.
It's America. Violence is okay.
Yeah, it is. It is for a mature audience, but at the same time, it's not like the one that Riley was showing earlier.
Right.
But yeah, the art is like a little not great. However, I think it lends to the kind of creepiness with the art.
Okay.
But yeah, creepier. I love the series.
Oh boy. Yeah, I could see this being super creepy.
Yeah. The funny thing is, it also has some really kind of hilarious comedy moments in it too. Like, if you go back to that page that you were just on, he sits in between a pillow so she can pretend to hug him because he doesn't have a body. And they do that a couple times where he like pretends to be something. I think later in the series there's a poll that he's like, please hug me. So there's some like good comedy in it too.
Okay. Sounds interesting. I dig it.
Yeah, it's a great series.
Let's see. Is there more?
This is when it starts getting creepy.
Go, let's go. I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
So maybe this one's never not been adapted, right?
No.
Maybe if it is, they'll.
Oh, wait. There is a live action drama that is currently airing. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I Googled it, and the first thing that showed up was the live action stuff.
Yeah. I've heard it's like pretty good, and the like effects that they're doing with it are really good as well. And I feel like with a horror series, sometimes it can kind of be hit or miss for a live action drama for that. So.
Oh, they recreated the cover for the thing. Cool. Okay. So that is digital only at the moment, right?
Yeah, unfortunately. I think there's 10 volumes, 9 or 10 volumes, and it's still ongoing. But yeah.
So I got another one. Sorry to keep it yokai related, but that's my jam. And I'm not too big of a horror reader anyways. So I prefer this kind of stuff. Creature horror is the type of thing I'm into compared to like the psychological stuff and like slashers and paranormal stuff. I had to show this Kemono Jihen, even though it's not really that scary at all. It's more action-packed than anything else. But here's the first volume, which is pretty cool that last year we had a show, I don't know if you remember, Riley, where we talked about like manga that we want licensed or whatever the hell it is. Something clickbaity. And I talked about this, and I'm so happy that I now hold at least the first one. I ordered the second one, hasn't arrived yet. So Kemono Jihen, if you guys don't know, it's about this kid based on the Dorotabo Yokai, which is super gigantic, like a friggin' giant coming out of rice paddy mud field. And it's usually the spirit of unattended fields and stuff like that, and they want attention. But that's unrelated to this. Dorotabo is working on the fields and in this rural town, if I remember correctly. And you have the character of Inugami, who is this eccentric detective from the city, from Tokyo, and he is sent to investigate some animal slaughter and mutilations and stuff. And there's some creepy stuff happening. And this kid, I'm not going to ruin it for you guys if you're interested, but he ends up being a part of Inugami's crew in Tokyo, helping him with investigations in the city. And it's all involving yokai and paranormal stuff. And yeah, it's a lot of fun if you're into that. Action-packed at times, and really fun dynamic between the main character and the other boys working at the agency for Inugami. And I kind of want to spoil something about the character of Inugami because it's really, really awesome. But I don't want to because it's super fun when you find out what he really is. I can censor this image because this spoils it. Sorry. Right there. So when you find out who he is, it's really awesome.
I can vouch for the series because I read the 2 volumes that are out like a day or 2 ago.
Yeah,
and it was fun. And I was thinking about you, Gio, when I read it. I was like, Gio's gonna be proud when I tell him that I read it on Thursday.
Oh yeah, it has an anime. If you guys want to check that out first, I always recommend that. You don't know about a series and it has an adaptation, check that out. If you like it, come back to the manga. 12 episodes, premiered last year. A lot of fun with great voice acting.
Is that a Jump Plus series?
I think so.
What was that? Sorry?
Jump Plus, yeah.
Yeah, yes. And the spine over here, right there. I don't have volume 2 yet, but highly recommend volume up.
Right, Jump Square.
Okay.
So almost.
I saw the 7 C's on the spine, and I was like, oh, they got another one.
Yeah, they have a few from either Jump Plus or Jump Square. I don't know why specifically, because like some of the other ones that they don't get are because there's nudity that they don't want to have, that like Viz doesn't want to censor, so they don't pick the license up, and then 7Cs does, and they don't censor it. But like this one doesn't have nudity. This one's very strongly a shonen title. It's pretty wholesome, more or less, from the first 2 volumes that I read. It's pretty fun, and it's been going for a while. It's got 17 volumes in Japan right now, so we got some catching up to do.
Yep. So yeah, yokai's everywhere in all manga, all genres. No matter.
But do you have Yokai Watch yet?
I have a video game of Yokai Watch on my 3DS. I can show that.
What's the cat called? Nyanbo or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Little orange cat. I worked at GameStop when the first one came out, and they gave us shirts with like a bunch of the characters on them. And I took the first one home with me to play it because they'd let you take a game home, and I could not get into it because it was, it's such a it's an RPG game, and RPG games like that, like Pokemon and stuff, they take so much to get into. And I was like, I don't have the time and patience right now to spend like a few hours on pre-game stuff to get into this. So I just took it back to the shop, and I wanted to be able to talk about it because I thought it was really cute, but I just didn't have the time for it.
One of the Yokai Watch games, I think it's the second one, is one of the priciest 3DS games of all time.
Oof.
It's in the $200 to $300 range because it's super rare.
I was going to say after the fact, right? They didn't release a $200 game, did they?
No. the company is like, this is...
Yeah. You would think they would want to get them on the Switch, but no, most of the games, or actually all of them, are stuck on the 3DS. There's only one, but it's in Japan only. It hasn't been localized yet. or translated. Sorry.
And the manga's got a pretty decent amount of volumes too. It's still going, in as far as I can recall.
I kind of want to check it out just for the heck of it, but I don't know.
That's how I feel as well about a lot of things, honestly.
It's like the Splatoon manga for the Nintendo stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like, I love Splatoon, but I don't want to read the Splatoon manga, but I kind of want to at the same time.
I'm this close to, because I got like every other Nintendo related manga, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I got Animal Crossing, and I haven't even played Animal Crossing since New Leaf, and I'm like, shit, man, but it's Animal Crossing manga.
You need to play the new Animal Crossing.
KK
I
Slide.
have like 300 hours into that bad boy.
I know, but I don't have 300 hours to put into myself. I could put 300 hours into reading and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna make this the last round of recommendations, but my last one, this is not just a recommendation based on this book, but also to talk about the creator and the publisher, and that is The Town of Pigs from Hideshi Hino, published by Starfruit Books. This was released, I think, earlier this year in the spring, and this was the first Hideshi Hino book in like over a decade. Hino Horror was published, I don't even remember which publisher it was, like over a decade ago, and those books are so heavily out of print. But Hino is another name that is like synonymous with horror manga, but because we haven't had anything in over a decade, his name doesn't really get brought up in contemporary conversations, especially with people who have gotten into manga more recently. So seeing Starfruit not just picking up one title to put into English, but forming a relationship with Hino's studio so that they can continue to bring more stuff into English is super exciting. And I think that they've got another Hino horror book coming out later this year or early next year. That's actually a reprint of an earlier book. And if you buy the book, you can get a postcard, because he tends to make these little postcards to put in all of their releases. So there's one. So Town of Pigs specifically is about it's just something happens and these people start going through this town, and they have, I'm trying to find the pictures of what I'm trying to mention here. There's people coming through with like swords and axes and on horses, and they're going through the town and just like beheading people. It's violent, it's bloody, and people start just turning into pigs. And it's like, what the hell is going on? And it's this horror following our main character, which is this young boy who has no clue what the hell's going on, but he's trying to figure it out and why everyone around him is turning into pigs. And that's the entire nature of it. Just this dark tale of uncertainty of the horror around you. And I'm going to slightly censor this page, but oops. That guy got his head chopped off.
Or his neck is really long.
Or that.
He's just screaming.
This has fantastic atmospheric artwork throughout the book that really gives you an idea of what to expect from Hino if you're not familiar with him. Similar to what I was saying about Shigeru Mizuki, is a creator that his characters are usually pretty like stylized, but his backgrounds and environments and whatnot are very nicely rendered and realistic. And I just, again, I'm very excited about the fact that we're going to be getting more Hino in English now going forward. And I actually need to give away this copy, so I'm probably going to make a video tomorrow or something on my TikTok account to give this away, because Matt over at Starfruit sent me 2 copies, and I have been holding on to it because I've been so busy that I haven't been able to do so. But I need to put this out into the wild. But it is still available if you want to order it. I don't remember if it's on Right Stuff, but I think it's available via the Starfruit Books store. And the newer copies, if I'm not mistaken, instead of the normal Starfruit label, he started up a horror label called Blood Orange. So it'll have a different logo on there. and he's not only is he going to have more Hino, but he's got other horror from other creators, including like some other shoujo horror mangaka that I don't think have anything available in English. But again, I've said that in the past and I've been wrong. So I said that about Nuki and was wrong about that one. So that was my third recommendation. Like I said, I'm going to try and give away this copy soon because it's a cool book.
Awesome. What else we got?
So I was thinking I might do one of the ones I have here, but instead, because it's another really hard to find series, I want to promote Do Not Say Mystery, which is coming out next year, which is an amazing detective mystery series, another episodic one as well. Sometimes the chapters like wrap up the story in just one chapter and it's like episodic in that way, but it's about this college kid named Totono who doesn't want anything to do with anything. He wants to live his life, but he just keeps getting involved in criminal activities against his will. So the very first chapter, he is thought to be the murderer of one of his classmates, and the entire chapter is just him being held in a like what are those police procedural rooms where they're questioning. I can't remember the name, but the one of those police procedural rooms. He's just stuck in there the whole time, and he has to talk to all these cops that keep coming in. And just a really great series. Yumi Tamura is my favorite author of all time, so like this series is no exception. It's just amazing, and I would highly recommend anyone to pick it up. Whether you like mystery or not, just pick it up.
It's still ongoing, right?
Yes. Volume 11 just came out.
Yeah, the first release will be a 2-in-1 omnibus.
Yeah.
When does the first one come out from
I think May of next year.
Is there any news on when the second one comes out so that we have an idea of how quickly they're trying to do them?
No idea. I know there's a pre-order up for the first one, but I don't know about the second one.
The first one says here, May 30th. So, who knows?
I guess I can't go too quick because I don't think we know when the series is going to end, and with how popular it is, I doubt it'll end super soon. And Yumi Tamura's series usually last pretty long, at least up to 26 volumes is like pretty typical for popular series. So,
and if they're doing 2-in-1s, you're going to catch up pretty quick.
Yeah, so I imagine it'll go kind of slow. But the chapters are really, really thick. Like it's 120 pages per chapter sometimes. So
wow.
Yeah, like these are really self-contained stories because they have so much time to do so.
Does she release, is it monthly chapters?
Yeah, monthly. Most shoujo or josei are going to be monthly. I think there's only a couple josei magazines that... Actually, I don't really know any josei magazines that do bi-monthly. I know a couple shoujo magazines do, but I don't think many joseis do.
I'm just curious because that's a lot of pages to do every month.
Yeah.
Like most monthly series are like 40, 50 pages. So
well, her art for this series is not as like detailed as she usually does. It's very minimalistic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's she probably makes it more that way so she can work on the dialogue and the story more than anything else, because usually her art is really like detailed but still stylized, but this time it's like just very minimal. But yeah.
If you want more mystery,
I knew Stogie Rhetoric.
This was good. I've read half of this first volume, just came out from One Piece books, and it is good so far. It's a mystery of the main character is a young woman who can hear lies, and she teams up with a detective that is not very successful and doesn't have much money, and kind of becomes his partner in that. And the relationship between them is really nice. And one thing that I liked is that unless he's trying to, he has not, like the detective has not lied to her at all. And I think that's really neat. Kind of just a little bit about his character. He's extremely honest. Yeah, it's got nice artwork, and it is a shoujo title that is not like it doesn't have a lot of the, I guess, the typical shoujo artistic flair to it. So it's one that, like, if you're someone who is more of a shonen seinen reader and you don't like the atmospheric artwork in some shoujo, then this is one that you would not, it wouldn't be off-putting at all, I guess. I'm trying to say that without being insulting, but I just know
you come back to the 3 screen and I'm just winding up.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like some guys typically, or or shonen girls don't enjoy that style, and this one doesn't really do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's a more palatable shoujo for those people.
Nice. We're an hour in, and I don't have much time, so you're gonna have to forgive me, but I'm gonna skip my last pick. I'm gonna be upset, so indulge me, you guys. I'm upset because I put 2 manga books in the thumbnail, and we haven't talked about them, and I want to make fun of them, and I forgot to do that. So let me do that real quick before we wrap up, if that's okay.
What if it's something that one of us loves, or both of us loves?
No, I'm gonna check them all, the 2 of them out. It's just they're absurd, or actually one of them's absurd. Sorry. So over the weekend with near Comic-Con and all that stuff, like we talked about last week, we missed all the announcements because we do the show on Thursdays. But they announced a bunch of books. I'm not gonna go over them. It's a lot, unless you guys want to. I don't know. But Yen Press announced a bunch of stuff. Any of the books that you guys want me to talk about? If not, I'm just going to highlight the one that I'm going to make fun of.
Please go ahead and do that, because I don't think there is anything that... There's one thing that I know Colleen had some reason to be somewhat excited about, but...
I don't think it's this one.
No.
No, it was not.
So it's a new series, reborn as a vending machine. I Now Wonder the Dungeon. This is what I'm making fun of it because it's absurd that there's a trend now with the isekai stuff where they are being transported and reborn as inanimate objects. There's the manga series Reincarnated as a Sword, and now this. And Yen Press says, cause of death, a vending machine. Is there any end more suitable for a vending machine enthusiast? I didn't know there were vending machine enthusiasts, but that's a thing. The manga adaptation of the beloved light novel. I didn't even know it was a light novel. I didn't know it was beloved. This is all new to me. So it's getting an anime adaptation as well. What the hell is going on? Where was I when the hype train began for this absurd title?
I knew it was getting an anime, and I remembered saying that, and I was like, Isekai has gone too far. It all needs to end. We don't need it anymore.
Oh, speaking of too far, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I've been, just for fun, just little tidbits on what I think of the new shows that I'm watching. Do you guys know about Eminence and Shadow?
I think maybe I heard the title, but I don't know anything about it.
I think it's one of the cringiest isekai I've ever seen in my life.
Oh boy. Because
it starts out, I'm going to summarize it real quick. It's this kid that wants to be a vigilante, and it starts out like and I even wrote it on Twitter, like a friggin' Frank Miller book. Like, think it tries to be a Daredevil comic or a Batman Year One, with this kid putting on like the ski mask thing and crowbars and going after bad guys, and he saves a girl, of course, from being kidnapped because she's famous from a famous family or whatever. And then there's a twist, and if you don't want me to spoil it, turn away now. Otherwise, I'm going to ruin the first episode for you guys. It turns out that he saves her, and then like 2 days later, he ends up dying in a car accident, and he gets reborn into another world where there's magic, of course, and plot twist. Now he uses that magic to become sort of a Batman-esque character and has a full team of babes with him, like a harem, and he is going to save the world as a vigilante.
What?
And he calls himself the Eminence in Shadow. Yeah. I watched the second episode today, and it gets progressively lamer as it goes.
I feel like your description was like, okay, and then he's like, and he has a bunch of babes with him. I'm like, and I was like, what? I thought you were gonna say he has like a Justice League with him, and I was like, okay, that sounds neat.
No. And the girls are all named like Alpha, Beta, like the Greek alphabet.
God.
Oh my god.
They're elf girls and other stuff.
They're just like,
yeah.
Okay.
So, what was that? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
I just said okay.
Oh, yeah. No. It's crazy. It's crazy.
But of the other Yen Press stuff, I don't want to be rude, but like Yen Press has been knocking out of the park lately, and this, like the 10 announcements that they had, or the 9 announcements or whatever, were so like lackluster that I didn't even decide to make a video about it, because it would have been very clear that I was not excited to talk about them. But there was.
Want to talk about what's wrong with Secretary Kim? Come on now.
I don't know what's wrong with Secretary Kim. Doesn't look like there's an. But there's the one thing I was going to mention is Colleen's 5-step plan to get Colette.
What decides to die? Hell yeah.
And what did you say? Like step 3 was the thing you announced?
So step 1, Sugar Apple Fairy Tale is getting an anime. Step 2 is Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, the light novel, gets an English release. Step 3 was Sugar Apple Fairy Tale, the first iteration of the manga, gets an English release. Step 4 is that does really well, and then the Colette Decides to Die author who did art for the spin-off of Sugar Apple Fairy Tale gets an English release. And then step 5 is that one does well enough that Colette gets licensed. And that's my 5-step plan to get Colette.
So this was step 3.
This was step 3. I'm so close. Next year. I'm getting Colette next year.
Sorry to cringe everybody here, but here is Eminence in Shadow. That's the main guy with his squad of.
That's exactly how I would picture that guy to look.
Yeah.
He looks like. He looks like he came from Solo Leveling, but he's got a giant.
He's got a Lelouch from Code Geass.
I was about to say he's got the Code Geass coat on.
He's got the Lampe Rouge.
And the other book that I wanted to talk about, this one I'm not making fun of. I'm actually pretty excited about it. So since it's horror spooky season or whatever, we're finally getting the perfect edition of Cat-Eyed Boy from Viz Media. Kazuo Umez.
Kazuo Umez. I realized after this got solicited for the new release, the hardcover release, that the 3 recent Kazuo Umez releases that we've gotten, Drifting Classroom, this, and then Orochi, which is still ongoing, or not ongoing, it's completed, but there's 4 released in English now, were like re-releases, and we haven't gotten any actual new Umez. And so I'm hoping that maybe next year, I guess, we'll get some actual new Umez. But this is very helpful because that I can cross off 2 items from my Viz signature checklist, because the previous printing Cat-Eyed Boy is expensive as all get out, and so that brings me down to just needing 27 Viz signature items, books, individual books.
And this is also getting a release. It's what do you call it? Dark Gathering by Kenichi Kondo. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up because I can read it digitally, but I'm happy that it's coming out. And of course, Junji Ito.
Soichi.
Getting this guy, Soichi, Junji Ito story collection next summer.
I'm so surprised that we had not gotten the Soichi collection before, because he's such a prominent character in Ito's short stories.
You want to know something? I dislike this character so much.
I remember that.
I don't like him at all, and I cringe, and it sends shivers up my spine that you would put nails in your teeth, and it freaks me out. I don't like him.
Is that one of your like no sounds? Like
Something like that, yeah.
Like for me, it's like felt tip markers on construction paper has that like. It makes
that said, I will pick this book up. So
maybe you'll have a change of heart on Soichi.
I'm collecting everything Junji Ito, so I will get it eventually. This also got picked up, which is one of my favorite new series from Shonen Jump. This is Akane Banashi. I do have a first impressions on my channel if you guys want to check it out. I like Rakugo, so this is pretty exciting. What else that I want to highlight? Of course, from Tatsuki Fujimoto, we are getting Goodbye Eri. So that's exciting. People can shut up about that already. And digital stuff, which people get mad about in the Twitters when they announce digital series.
The fact that PP is digital.
PP. Go ahead.
I'm confused. Like, that series is popular. It's it rates well, like it does well on surveys, like, and I for sure thought that this was going to be announced for physical. Neru and Candy Flurry, I'm not surprised. I actually had someone comment on my video because I mentioned something about like I really didn't care about Neru at all, and they were like, I don't understand why so many people don't like Neru. It has some of the best like action sequences, and I'm like, because it was boring. Like, it was just not exciting.
I didn't check it out, but I did like Candy Flurry. That was fun.
The beginning of Candy Flurry was dope. Like at the very beginning, where she comes in and like fights the giant, like, what was it, a donut monster, a cupcake monster?
Yeah, with the giant lollipop.
And they're like the whole like, it started off so well, and it went from like this interesting concept to
the most average thing ever.
Yeah. It was like, are you kidding me? Yep. And somewhere around where they're fighting like the popcorn person, I was like, come
on. What's this one? Like a Butterfly. That's coming out too.
Yeah, we
talked. Yeah, that's the shoujo series by Sumori Shita.
Gotcha. And what is this? I haven't checked out these posts, these solicits. What is this?
This one is Wolf Girl and Black Prince, which is one of the more popular series from, I forget the author's name, but they're doing Imakoi right now that they licensed last year, and it started releasing this year. So we have a series from this author already, but this is the one from them that like got them big.
Nice. And what is this? Hard Gear from Tsuyoshi Takaki.
So that's from the same as Black Torch.
Kind of has the same feel with the colors.
Yeah, I didn't know until someone commented, and I didn't realize it. And so I wish that I knew, so in my video I could have pointed it out.
And this is
I forget the exact.
I Love Myself: The Journey of a Non-Binary Manga Artist by Poppy Pesuyama.
Yeah.
Cool. And a bunch of other stuff I don't care about.
Their trauma when from like workplace harassment when they worked under another creator.
Yeah, that's like a heavy, interesting read.
Yeah.
And I want to point this out, even though it is manga. Freaking mangaka taking care of business and putting Black Bolt back in the spot, bringing it back to the Inhumans. And freaking Marvel can't put out an omnibus. What the hell? Like, we're going to get Black Bolt manga version. I am extremely happy about that.
I think that's like an art book with like
I don't mind.
covers and whatnot. Creators. But they did have two Marvel manga. One of them was the Spider-Man one, and the other one, technically not a manga, the other one is Tsutomu Nihei.
The Wolverine stuff?
Yeah,
I saw that.
Snicked from like 15 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So if you like Nihei, we got that finally back into print. They call it like the deluxe version, but I don't know if deluxe is going to mean the same that like Marvel would mean if they said deluxe. Like, is it going to be an oversized hardcover, or is it just going to be a big old paperback like Secret Reverse was?
We'll have to find out.
The world may never know until next summer.
So, yeah, bringing it back to Viz. This was in the thumbnail. Cat-Eyed Boy, perfect for a Halloween read if you can get your hands on it. If not, wait for this release.
And you can read it for next Halloween.
When is it coming out? Summer. Yeah.
It'll be next summer, so the second volume may come out around spooky season.
Deluxe hardcover edition. Nice. Okay. I wasn't a fan of Orochi, but I like Cat-Eyed Boy, so I want to own it.
I like Drifting Classroom a lot.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, that one's cool. And that one, like, when you realize the kind of where he was, like, what his headspace was about that series, like, because it was like him telling a story of his he witnessed the bombings of like Hiroshima and stuff when he was a child, and so like he's telling this story from the perspective of like what he saw and what he believed the world was going to turn into because of that. And it's like this apocalyptic wasteland where the kids have to fend for themselves, and it turns into kind of this like what's that novel that people always refer back to?
Left Behind.
I can't
Damn it. No, the one about the kids that fight each other on the island or whatever, and there's like the pig head.
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, it's kind of ish Lord of the Flies ish. I really love it. I love that series.
If you want to watch a anime similar to Drifting Classroom, but not horrific at all, just the fact that the classroom moves, Sunny Boy. Was it Sunny Boy? Came out last year.
Yeah.
That was a really fun series. The thing that gets me with Yen Press having the audacity to announce the Horimiya Memorial Book is that there's still no final volume release date. Yep.
I was trying to think of what I can say.
I've only seen the anime for Horimiya, so I haven't read it. Sorry.
I brought that fact up not to anyone that would be able to publish that, but I brought it up yesterday to state like kind of the idea of fans are appreciative of like when dates are given when they know when something's coming. And I use that as an example of like Horimiya fans, for instance, have no idea when the last volume is going to come out, when the second to last came out last year, I believe.
Yeah.
And so that's a point of contention right now, since Yen Press has no information about when that's going to happen. So I was saying that to someone else from another publisher to tell them why I think people really appreciate like when the information is forthright about like future releases.
N-Man, Jesus. Next to Maginot, sorry. Asked a couple questions. I'm so sorry, I skipped them. Let me highlight them real quick. The subject of horror manga. Any rumblings on 14 from Umez? I know nothing of any rumblings to publish that.
No, but that's anything that has not yet been published. That's what I'm hoping Viz comes around to doing eventually, because he has so much stuff that's not been published in English yet.
Yeah. Second question. Ghost in the Shell fully compiled hardcover that's coming out soon. I want that. Any chance this bodes well for an oversized Appleseed Omni within the next several years? Anything's possible. I wouldn't say no to that.
Does Dark Horse still have that license?
I don't know.
Let me look up real quick, because there is at least one Appleseed hardcover on. There's the Appleseed Alpha Omnibus, which is published by Kodansha. So I don't know if Kodansha has the rights to Appleseed or just that spinoff particularly. I know is that Dark Horse is moving and shaking right now. So
shake and bake. Baz reads books. A favorite spooky manga is Phantom Tales of the Night, a josei featuring morally gray yokai who run an inn with semi-episodic storytelling. Nice. Sounds awesome.
I know the art is really pretty on that one.
Is it? Yeah. I'm sold already. I want to check it out.
Yeah, if you look at the covers, it will sell you just on the covers alone for that.
I talked about Reincarnated as a Sword a couple minutes ago. That is an amazing series. It's so much fun. I love it. I'm watching the anime adaptation of it, and I'm really digging it. And I agree. I thought it was going to be stupid, but it's not. And the main character, she is super funny and wholesome and kind of a badass wielding a sword. Let's see if I miss anything else. Oh, final question here from Next Imaginaut. Before you go, could you offer some more juicy Japanese horror adjacent film recommendations for the rest of the month? You got any film recommendations before we go?
Kazuo Umez has directed some horror films. So there's those, I guess, if you want.
Arrow has his, what's it called? The Silver Witch Snake movie. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's so dated, but I dig it.
Is it
the Snake Girl and the Silver-Haired Witch?
That one.
Yeah.
Got it.
Black and white, and it's like a freaking fever dream. Last week I recommended the Yokai movies, the trilogy. This week I'll recommend. I don't know. Sorry. Don't put me on the spot like that. I'm terrible at recommendations.
Not a movie, but it's about the same length. And you recommended this one to me, was the Pet Shop of Horrors.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
4 episodes long, and it's very nice.
Yeah.
Dark, atmospheric. And I really love the animation style from this time, from the 90s. And any really anything from Satoshi Kon. Most of his stuff is psychological horror type stuff. But specifically, this is not a movie, but that's my favorite of his works, was Paranoia Agent.
My favorite Satoshi Kon work is Millennium Actress.
I got that one too.
First time I saw an animated movie, and I just started bawling. Back in the day.
I don't think I've actually seen any of his movies, so.
Really? Oh,
yeah, I know. I'm missing out. I've been meaning to at least watch Perfect Blue for like the longest time, but.
Perfect Blue's great.
It's
heavy on the psychological stuff.
It's Black Swan.
Yeah.
Or Black Swan is
it's
Other way around, Riley.
Yeah, pre.
The same for Paprika is the same with Inception.
Yeah, and Paprika is getting a live action version from Hollywood, but it's based on the novel, not the Satoshi Kon movie. They're both adapting the novel, so I'm interested to see what they do with it. Although they've done concepts like that before. There was that one movie with what's her name, Jennifer Lopez, where she's in the mind of a serial killer with a new technology. So it's in the vein of Paprika. But if you guys want to start out with Satoshi Kon, I always recommend Millennium Actress. That's my favorite. That's one of my all-time favorite animated movies. And Tokyo Godfathers.
Yeah,
that's super wholesome and funny.
Is that one still on Netflix? Because I've been meaning to watch that one for a really long time, and I think I remembered it being on Netflix.
I'll check real quick here. Currently, you are able to watch Tokyo Godfathers streaming on Hoopla or for free with ads on the Roku channel.
All right.
I don't have Netflix, so I can't check Netflix, but you know.
Well,
I can find it if I need to.
Roku's a good option. Also have I was trying to see if it came with a free digital copy, but it doesn't. But it has a DVD. Maybe when I go to Chicago, I'll drop a bunch of DVDs from my Blu-ray DVD sets.
I'll take them.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if I have a DVD player, honestly.
I think I have an extra DVD player also.
The Blu-ray player will play the DVDs, so you're good.
Give you a PS. Well,
Oh, I could always just hook the PS4 back up. I don't know if PS5s have a DVD slot. That was the only reason I said that.
James is recommending Daimajin, Yokai Monsters, and Godzilla movies. Good stuff. Daimajin. Millennium Actress is on YouTube with ads. There you go. For free. All right.
Oh, free.
I'm so lazy. I'm going to watch it on YouTube instead of getting the disc behind me. The whole Billy shelf behind me has hundreds and hundreds of anime, and I'm not going to pick out a single one. Look.
It's the beauty of the internet.
How do I do this? There you go. It's all that is anime Blu-rays. Because that's my main hobby, I guess. I don't know.
I'm gonna mention just real quickly that Hellsing is a thing because Lou before the show was like,
I forgot about that. He wanted to. He suggested we talk about Hellsing.
You gonna talk about Hellsing? And I was like, I wasn't planning on it, but I can mention it.
You got it in.
Hellsing exists. It is a thing. It's a lot of fun. Very violent.
Watch Hellsing Ultimate and check out the soundtrack for the original Hellsing, but don't watch the original Hellsing, please.
The original Hellsing had Nosferatu in there for some reason, and yes. I think a dragon,
something like that.
Whereas the actual series was an army of Nazi zombies and ghouls that was fighting against a sect of the Catholic Church. So it's a very big departure.
Speaking of departure, let me do that and remind you guys that all the stuff that we talked about tonight, all the manga books, you can probably find them at InStockTrades.com, our official sponsor, your home for all things collected editions, where you can get your Omnibus, trade paperbacks, hardcovers, manga, box sets, all that and more, with deals up to 50% off at times. If you order on a week-by-week basis, you get that extra 2% called the loyalty discount. And if you make an order of $50 or more, you get free shipping. Fantastic customer service. That's InStockTrades.com, the official sponsor of Omnibros Live here on the Omnibus Collectors Network. Shout out once again to IST for sponsoring your Omnibros. So check them out, guys. There you go. You can find all of them except the ones calling recommended.
Love being a shoujo fan. Isn't it fantastic?
You will be able to find
Soon.
Do Not Say Miss though.
By the way,
one I gave.
Am I wrong in saying that like Seven Seas is more of a shoujo beat than shoujo beat is shoujo beat?
Turning out to be that way right now.
Picking up books and licenses and all that stuff from what I'm reading online, like Jesus Christ.
Turning out to be that way.
Good for them.
That's so funny because that's like exactly what everyone is saying right now.
Yeah.
Everyone. And then like the people outside of like the shoujo fans try to tell like the shoujo people like you have to be thankful basically for the crumbs. And
you
it's
should
like,
enjoy those 4.5 series you got in 1 year when Seven Seas has done it in a month.
My recommendation would be Criterion's new restoration of I can't say this name. Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Cure, Pulse, and Creepy. I only finally got around to diving into his filmography last year and have completely fallen for his storied supernatural horror crime mystery thingamajig. There you go. Thank you, Next Imaginaut. Thank you so much.
We have been watching some horror movies. Colleen's seen Scream and the Jennifer's Body.
Jennifer's Body is super underrated.
It was
a
lot.
Good. I was really into it.
Yep.
But I think it's both. I don't know. It's really funny because you're like, I don't know. I don't really watch horror, and then you're talking about like the ones that you have seen that are all like legitimate movies, like
super bloody and stuff,
like Hereditary and Midsummer, and I'm like,
yeah, the horror movies I have seen are just like deeply fucked up, and I don't know why I've seen them. But I saw them in theaters. Like, I walked into theaters and bought a ticket on my own to go see them, and I'm like, I don't like horror.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like we're watching these like like Scream freaking. Like you're sitting there like in the chat like saying like this is legitimately hilarious, and we're like, yeah, it's fun because they're not like these mindfuck horror movies that you've seen.
Yeah.
This is like what, because usually like 9 times out of 10 when I watch a horror movie, that's the type of stuff that I'm watching. Like I was watching like, okay, so here's the 3 most recent things that I picked up. Leprechaun, the entire franchise.
Why?
Because it was like $7. The Puppet Master, the most recent release, The Littlest Reich, which is a blast and a half. It has Thomas Lennon in it from Reno 911, and he's fighting against these little fucker puppets. And then Men, which is the one that I was talking about earlier. This movie, like it is what it is for like the first hour and 15 minutes, and the last 15 minutes, I'm assuming it's about 90 minutes, it just goes off the walls. And I learned a lot more about pagan gods and stuff that I ever learned before because I had to find out what the hell was going on. So yeah, usually it's this, and then I pull one of these out and I'm like, okay.
It's little fucker puppets.
Yeah, little fucker puppets. They're racist puppets too. They're like targeting non-white men. And Thomas Lennon says it. He's like, the puppets are committing hate crimes. the cop is like, what? And he's like, I'm telling you. And then like he kind of proves that by the end of the movie, and it's true.
What a great twist.
Yeah, it is a great twist.
Yeah. Also, since we're recommending off the wall stuff, going back to anime, I do recommend the anime adaptations of Mushishi and it's escaping me. What's the name of the thing with the girl looping back in time? Higurashi, When They Cry. I liked the new one, but you kind of have to know about the older stuff because it's part of the same universe, and it's sort of a repeat of what happened with newer animation. But I still recommend it because it's bloody fun.
I recommend Beetlejuice.
You're pulling off all the random stuff like right off screen. I love it.
He's just got it all just right next to him, just so he can.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I know it's there. Just yeah.
But I don't have that put away, so I was like, yeah, found it for $25 at Walmart, the whole series.
That new doll movie looks fun. Veronica. I don't know what that's.
Annabelle?
No, it's not called Veronica or Annabelle, but the doll does this freaky dance like
Maria. What's it called?
It's something with a Megan.
Megan.
M3GAN.
I know it was M, but
yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, Mushishi Anime just pushes the emotions even further with the music and atmosphere. There you go. Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap up.
Okay.
I gotta go. Next Imagine, don't do this to me. 2 more comments from him, and we're out. FYI, there are also now acceptable to very good transfers of Gakuru Ishii's rare older films now floating around YouTube, and Onibaba shouldn't be missed. Onibaba is great, one of the best Japanese horror movies, in my opinion, with the benefit of the higher streaming bit rates. Okay, so with that said, thank you, everybody. Thank you to the chat. You guys are wonderful as always. Thank you. I sort of took over Riley's job in hosting, but whatever.
That's okay.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll be back next Monday with the collected editions that are coming out, and Wednesday with a Halloween-themed episode of something, and then Thursday we're going to do another manga stream. Hope to see you then. Colleen, where can people find you on the internet when you're not here with us?
You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram at Colleen's Mangarex, and on Twitter at manga_nostalgic.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Omnibus Collector?
At the Omnibus Collector on YouTube and on Twitter and on TikTok. And if you're interested in seeing something neat,
Is it going to be a cheesy horror movie?
No, I posted a little kind of a like reveal of the artwork from the Akira Art of Wall on my TikTok tonight, as well as on my Instagram, so you can see that and see what this big piece of media is all about.
There you go. So thank you, everybody. Thank you to our sponsor. Thank you all. Have a great night. Catch you guys on the next stream.